Me and two boys were essayed by the doctor at Job Corps, and then it's like, um, I did mention it like a while. Well, this was definitely over a year ago on this sub when I found it, and it definitely was a warning. But it's kind of funny though because I remember like I talked about how it most likely wasn't going to be a way to like try to escape an abuse situation, and really it isn't. These things are not ways to escape a bad situation. In fact, one of the real points of Job Corps is to funnel you into the military to be a labor track puppet, pretty much. And overall, there is no system put in place to help you. You have to save yourself, and I still ended up having to do that, and I still am, because that's pretty much how it goes. You're lucky if things don't end up going really left, and if you don't end up getting conned and further traumatized, run into these systems for help. Although I do know that Job Corps is mostly seen as a punishment, so a good amount of people in there were forced to go there. Me and other people that were in, I guess I could say, my class or whatever, not most of us, everybody in my class actually wanted to go. And that was kind of the crazy thing, when like the staff were making us feel like we were there because we did something wrong, and they were talking about how it's pretty much like a last ditch effort to try to quote unquote get somebody on the right path. And those are the talks that you get in your first day there and your second day and stuff like that. And it was really just a red flag. Aside from the fact that like my abusers didn't want me to go anyways, I had to beg to go and all that. And they kept telling me how bad it was going to be, and I thought they were just trying to like manipulate me, but honestly they weren't lying. In fact, it was worse, and it went worse than I thought it would. And I was only there for 2 weeks before I got essayed with 2 boys and kicked out. Then the doctor was trying to like manipulate other people into getting essayed, and there was also a lot of other issues, but this was my main issue, aside from like all the side things that went on there. And what else was I gonna say with that? Oh yeah, and then like one of the times I talked about it like a year or so ago in the Job Corps group, like some of I guess these people were staff members. They were saying things like it's not against the law for the doctor to check you for an STD. They have to check you for an STD. That is not what was happening. And realistically, even something like that has to revolve around getting permission from somebody. You can't just run around randomly sticking your hand down people's pants and telling them that you're checking to see if they have 2 balls and giving people nipple massages and all that, which I don't even know what that has to do with checking for an STD, quote unquote, as the staff claimed it was supposed to be. But yeah, it's just like the usual chomo stuff you're going to run into when you're seen as a vulnerable person who's in a place that vulnerable people go to. No institution is safe. In fact, I almost forgot this point. Just a couple months ago, a dude was telling me about he's heard about dudes getting R-word about other boys at Job Corps. So yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I just read that post that's at the beginning for the first time. Like I just found that, but that's actually really interesting because I thought about this when it comes to like the amount of time the amount of time people are spending at Job Corps versus the amount of time that it would take to like get a certificate and maybe even a degree from a college. And it's like, I remember saying back then that people were spending 2 years and stuff sitting at Job Corps for a certificate that could probably take like 5 months max at a community college, and it didn't make sense to me. So it makes sense that they're trying to like drag people's stays out and keep people there longer than they really need to be. And that's often how institutions work. Like from the medical side of the cash for kids system and the human cash cow systems, and how like they'll keep people there way longer than they need to be, drugging them up on neurotoxin drugs to keep getting money from the government through medical insurance fraud, stuff like that. Or even how the school system branches of the cash for kids system will like keep people on their caseloads and keep getting money for people that haven't been in the quote unquote classes for years. So yeah, that's how institutions work.